I stepped into an alien celebration. All eyes were on me, all women were alien. Luminous invitation. Maya Chen had never intended to crash an alien celebration. As an interstellar anthropologist studying cultural exchanges across the galaxy, she'd made a reputation for herself by blending in, observing from the periphery, and maintaining professional distance. Yet here she was on Elysium, a planet ringed by crystalline moons, holding an iridescent invitation that had appeared mysteriously in her quarters aboard the research vessel Horizon. The invitation pulsed gently between her fingers, emitting a soft glow that shifted between azure and violet. Her translator implant decoded the flowing script. Your presence is requested at the convergence of souls. When the third moon aligns, follow the luminous path. Maya's curiosity overwhelmed her caution. After donning her environmental suit adjusted for Elysium's atmosphere, she followed the trail of bioluminescent flora that activated at her approach, winding through forests where, vegetation responded to movement with gentle harmonic tones. The path led to a vast structure that seemed to grow from the planet itself. Walls of living crystal threaded with veins of light that pulsed in rhythm like a heartbeat. As she approached, the entrance parted like liquid glass, welcoming her into a grand hall filled with Elysians. Maya froze. Every being turned toward her, their attention immediate and intense. The Elysians stood taller than humans, with slender forms and skin that seemed to contain galaxies, swirling patterns of light beneath translucent outer layers in shades of blue, purple, and silver. Their features were delicate yet striking, with large eyes that reflected light like prisms. You received an invitation, a melodic voice stated beside her, not a question but a confirmation tinged with surprise. Maya turned to face the speaker and momentarily lost her ability to respond. Before her stood an Elysian with skin the color of twilight, embedded with points of light that resembled stars. Their eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangular pattern, regarded Maya with unmistakable curiosity. "I'm Varix," they said, the translator rendering the musical intonations into words Maya could understand. "And you are quite unexpected." "I'm Maya Chen," she managed. "Human anthropologist. I found this invitation and followed it here. Should I not have come?" Varix's expression shifted in a way Maya couldn't interpret. "The convergence rarely calls to off-worlders. You must possess something unique." A slender hand with elongated fingers reached toward her, not quite touching. "The invitation chose you. Now I'll wish to know why." "What exactly is this convergence?" Maya asked, acutely aware that every Elysian continued watching them, moving closer in a slow, graceful dance of curiosity. Varix's 3 eyes shimmered. "It is when souls find their cosmic resonance. When beings discover those whose energy patterns complement their own." A pause, then. "It is what your kind might call destiny." Electric connection. The celebration hall hummed with energy that Maya could feel beneath her skin, like standing too close to a magnetic field. Varix guided her through the crowd of Elysians who parted with fluid movements, their gazes following the human visitor with undisguised fascination. "They've never seen a human up close," Varix explained, their voice a melodic cascade that Maya's translator struggled to fully capture. "Your energy signature is chaotic yet harmonious, different from our own." Maya studied the gathering as they moved. The Elysians communicated through subtle shifts in the luminescence of their skin, conversations happening in flashes of light alongside spoken language. The hall itself seemed alive, responding to the collective energy of its occupants with pulses of color that flowed through crystalline walls. "I didn't realize I was interrupting something so significant," Maya said. "The convergence, you mentioned cosmic resonance?" Varix guided her to a quiet alcove where floating spheres of liquid light provided illumination. They gestured toward the gathering with a graceful sweep of their arm. "Every 7th alignment of our moons, Elysians gather to find those whose energy complements their own. Some seek lifelong bonds, others temporary resonance for creative collaboration or spiritual growth." Varix's central eye fixed on Maya, while the others scanned the room. "It's rare for the convergence to call an off-worlder." Maya felt a pleasant warmth spreading through her chest. Not embarrassment, but something else entirely. "So this is some kind of matchmaking event?" "That simplifies it, but yes." Varix's skin rippled with patterns that reminded Maya of northern lights on Earth. Would you permit me to show you our customs? I find your presence intriguing. The evening unfolded in a series of experiences that challenged Maya's perception. Varix led her through ritual dances where partners never touched, but moved in synchronicity, creating patterns of light between them. They shared essence nectar, a luminous liquid that tasted of starlight and distant memories, from crystal vessels that responded to emotional states. This is incredible, Maya whispered as Varix demonstrated how to activate harmonic resonance between two floating crystal shards. I've studied 17 alien cultures, but nothing like this. Perhaps that's why you were called here, Varix suggested, their three eyes focusing intently on Maya. You perceive differently. You feel differently. Their fingers hovered near Maya's face, not quite touching. May I? Maya nodded, and Varix gently placed their fingertips against her temples. A gentle current passed between them, not unpleasant, but startlingly intimate. Images flashed in Maya's mind. Earth's oceans, Elysium's crystal forests, stars viewed from different perspectives. What was that? Maya asked, breathless when Varix withdrew their touch. A sharing of perception, they explained, their skin glowing brighter. I wanted to see your world through your memories. A pause. Then softly. You carry much beauty within you. Maya Chen. As the celebration continued around them, Maya found herself drawn to Varix in ways that transcended physical attraction. There was something in the way they perceived the universe with wonder and profound awareness that resonated with her own spirit of exploration. Tomorrow, Varix said as the first moon began to set, I would show you the crystal cascades if you're willing. It's where Elysians go to deepen their connections. Maya knew she should maintain professional distance, should document this encounter with scientific detachment. Instead, she heard herself say, I'd like that very much. Varix's skin illuminated with patterns that needed no translation. Celestial dance, the crystal cascades defied Maya's scientific understanding. Liquid light poured over formations of resonant crystal, creating harmonic tones that shifted with the flow. The surrounding vegetation responded to these harmonics, unfurling blossoms that released luminescent pollen into the air. The entire ecosystem existed in perfect symbiosis, plants, minerals, and energy in an endless dance. This is where Elysians come to forge deeper bonds, Varix explained, as they guided Maya along a pathway that illuminated beneath their steps. The crystals amplify emotional resonance between compatible beings. Maya's scientific mind raced to understand the mechanisms, but another part of her, a part she rarely acknowledged during research expeditions, simply wanted to experience this moment with Varix. Is that why you brought me here? She asked. To test our compatibility? Varix's skin rippled with patterns that Maya was beginning to recognize as amusement. I brought you here because I find you fascinating, Maya Chen. Your mind works differently from any Elysian I've met. You analyze and categorize, yet you also feel deeply. Their three eyes regarded her with gentle intensity. Both qualities are rare together. They reached a circular platform surrounded by the luminous cascades. Other Elysian pairs moved in synchronous patterns across similar platforms, not quite dancing as Maya understood it, but something more deliberate and profound. Will you join me in the celestial dance? Varix asked, extending their hand without touching Maya. It requires no prior knowledge, only openness to connection. Maya hesitated only briefly before stepping onto the platform. I'm not sure I'll do it correctly. There is no correct or incorrect in the dance. There is only authentic expression. Varix positioned themselves opposite Maya. Follow the impulses that arise between us. The crystals will guide our movements. As they began to move, the platform beneath them illuminated in patterns that responded to their steps. Maya felt a strange awareness of Varix's presence. Not telepathy exactly, but a heightened sense of their energy and intentions. When Varix moved right, Maya found herself naturally moving left in perfect balance. When she raised her arms, Varix created a complementary form. The crystals around them resonated at frequencies that Maya could feel in her bones, creating a harmonic field that seemed to bridge the space between them. Their movements accelerated, becoming more fluid and instinctive. Maya forgot her scientific detachment, surrendering to the experience as energy flowed between them in visible arcs of light. This is incredible, she breathed as they moved in perfect synchronicity. I can almost feel what you're thinking. Not thoughts, Varix corrected gently. Intentions. Emotions. The foundations that exist before thought takes form. As they continued the dance, Maya felt a growing connection to Varix that transcended physical attraction. It was as though her consciousness expanded to include an awareness of them that went deeper than observation. She sensed their curiosity, their wonder at the universe, their desire to understand differences rather than fear them, qualities that mirrored her own. When the dance finally concluded, they stood facing each other, their breathing synchronized. The space between them seemed charged with possibility. Is this why the convergence brought me here? Maya asked softly. To find you? Varix's skin glowed with patterns that seemed both hopeful and uncertain. The convergence merely opens doors. We choose whether to walk through them. Their fingers hovered near Maya's face, not quite touching. I would like to show you more of my world if you're willing. The rational part of Maya's mind reminded her of protocols and professional boundaries. But as the crystal cascades sang around them and Varix's eyes reflected universes she'd never explored, Maya made her choice. Show me everything, she said. In whispers between worlds, 3 days into her time with Varix, Maya realized she had abandoned all pretense of anthropological objectivity. Her data collection had become secondary to the experiences themselves, swimming in pools where liquid light clung to their bodies like second skins, exploring ancient crystal formations that held the recorded memories of Elysian ancestors, sharing quiet moments beneath auroras that responded to emotional states. Your colleagues on the horizon have been trying to contact you, Varix noted, as they sat atop a floating island of luminous moss, watching the 3 moons align in rare conjunction. Maya's communicator had been chiming with increasing urgency throughout the day. I know, she admitted, watching patterns of light play across Varix's skin, patterns she now recognized as contemplation mixed with concern. The research vessel departs tomorrow. I'm expected to be on it. The unspoken question hung between them, as tangible as the charged particles dancing in Elysium's atmosphere. Maya had come as a scientist, an observer of alien cultures. She was meant to document, analyze, and depart, leaving only footprints, taking only data. Instead, she found herself changed in ways that defied documentation. What will you tell them? Varix asked, their 3 eyes focused on the moons rather than on Maya. I don't know, she answered honestly. My report will mention an unprecedented invitation to the convergence, cultural exchanges, new understandings of Elysian society. She paused, then added softly, but it can't possibly capture what's happened between us. Varix's fingers intertwined with hers, a gesture they had adopted from human custom, though they imbued it with their own meaning through subtle energy exchanges that made Maya's skin tingle pleasantly. Among Elysians, when a connection forms during convergence, both beings must decide whether to pursue resonance or release it, they explained. Neither choice is considered wrong. Both require courage. Maya understood the weight of this statement. On Earth, we have a saying about loving something enough to let it go. That sentiment exists here too, though we speak of harmonies that separate to create new songs. Varix turned to face her fully. Maya Chen, I must show you something before you decide. They led her through crystal archways to an ancient structure unlike the living architecture of the city. This building stood silent and immutable, carved from solid stone that absorbed light rather than emitting it, a stark contrast to everything Maya had seen on Elysium. The Hall of Cosmic Threads, Varix explained as they entered a domed chamber. Few off-worlders have seen this place. The chamber's ceiling displayed what appeared to be a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, but as Maya looked closer, she saw fine filaments connecting various star systems, some bright and pulsing, others faint but present. These are the connections between worlds, Varix said, their voice reverent, not trade routes or political alliances, but deeper resonances. Shared dreams, compatible energies, potential futures. With a gesture, Varix brought 2 specific points into focus, Earth and Elysium. Between them stretched a thread so faint it was barely visible, but it existed. Our worlds have rarely connected, Varix explained. Different evolutionary paths, different values, different perceptions of reality itself. Yet here we stand, you and I, creating a new thread. They turned to Maya, their skin glowing with an intensity she hadn't seen before. If you stay, you would be the first human to join with Elysian society completely. If I left with you, I would be severed from the collective energy that sustains my kind. These are not simple choices. Maya felt the weight of impossibility pressing against her chest. Is there no middle path? There might be, Varix acknowledged, but it would require sacrifice from both sides. Compromise. Adaptation beyond what either of our species has attempted. As they stood beneath the cosmic map, Maya understood that what had begun as an accidental invitation had become something with potential consequences for both worlds. Their connection, tender, profound, and utterly unexpected, now faced its greatest test. I need time to think, she whispered. Varix's skin dimmed slightly, but their expression remained gentle. The final ritual of convergence happens tomorrow at moonrise. Whatever you decide, I will be there. As Maya walked back to her temporary quarters, her communicator chimed once more. Captain Reeves of the Horizon, her voice tight with concern. Chen, we need confirmation. Are you returning with us, or do we list you as remaining on Elysium? The diplomatic implications are significant. We need your answer by morning. Maya stared out at the crystalline landscape of a world that had begun to feel like more than a research assignment. For the first time in her career, the scientist in her was silent, leaving her heart to navigate uncharted territory. Beyond stars, dawn broke over Elysium in ripples of color that defied Earth's limited spectrum. Maya stood at the viewport of her quarters, watching crystal spires capture and transform the light. Her decision sat heavy in her hands, quite literally, as she held two objects: her Horizon identification badge and the iridescent invitation that had started everything. Her communicator lay silent on the table, her message to Captain Reeves sent hours ago after a sleepless night of contemplation. Now she waited for moonrise and the final ritual of convergence, where her path would be determined once and for all. When she arrived at the great crystal hall, the gathering was already underway. Elysians moved in synchronized patterns, their skin illuminated with complementary light patterns that showed the connections formed during convergence. Maya searched the crowd until she found Varix standing apart from the others, their three eyes scanning the entrance with evident hope. The moment Varix saw her, their skin brightened dramatically, drawing attention from nearby Elysians. Maya moved through the crowd, aware of the curious gazes but focused entirely on reaching Varix. You came, Varix said when she stood before them. Did you doubt I would? Maya asked. Not doubt, but I recognize the difficulty of your position. Varix's expression became solemn. Have you decided your path? Maya took a deep breath. I've spent my life studying connections between different cultures, always maintaining professional distance, always observing, never participating. She reached out, taking Varix's hands in her own. But what we found here is something I can't classify or catalog. It's something I can only experience. Around them, the final ritual began as Elysian couples stepped into circles of light that rose from the floor. Each circle merged with its partner, creating unified fields of energy that symbolized the connections formed. The Horizon left orbit this morning, Maya continued, but I wasn't on it. Varix's skin pulsed with patterns of surprise and joy. You've chosen to stay on Elysium? Not exactly, Maya smiled. I've proposed something new to both your Council of Harmonies and the Interstellar Cultural Exchange. A permanent ambassadorship, not just diplomatic but cultural, scientific, personal. Understanding dawned in Varix's expression. A bridge between worlds? Maya nodded. It won't be easy. There are biological considerations, cultural adjustments, diplomatic hurdles. But the Council was intrigued by the possibility, especially after what happened at the convergence. They've never had a human receive an invitation before. And your superiors, Varix asked, are cautiously supportive, especially when I explained the potential for scientific and cultural exchange. She squeezed Varix's hands gently. I can't promise forever, but I can promise to explore this connection between us, between our worlds, and see where it leads. Varix guided her toward an empty circle of light. Then perhaps we should make it official in the eyes of my people. As they stepped into the circle together, the energy field rose around them, responding to their unique resonance. Unlike the perfectly matched patterns of the Elysian couples, theirs formed something new, asymmetrical yet balanced, with elements of both worlds intertwining in harmonious chaos. The gathered Elysians watched in fascination as the first human-Elysian bond was recognized by the ancient energies of convergence. Maya felt something shift within her, a sense of connection that transcended physical attraction or intellectual fascination. In Varix, she had found someone who challenged her understanding of the universe while affirming her place within it. Later, as they stood on a balcony overlooking the crystal forests of Elysium, Varix pointed to the night sky where Earth was merely one distant point of light among billions. "What happens now?" they asked. Maya considered the vastness before them and the unexplored territory of their relationship. "Now we write our own story," she said. "Not as human and Elysian, but as two beings who found each other across the stars." Varix's fingers intertwined with hers as their skin glowed with patterns Maya was beginning to understand meant love, not despite their differences, but because of them. "That," said Varix, "sounds like a journey worth taking." Above them, the three moons of Elysium aligned once more, casting their combined light over two figures who stood as living proof that connection could transcend worlds, species, and the vast emptiness of space itself.